Hello, welcome back to another fantasy football video. Hope everyone's doing fantastically well ahead of the FPL 2021-22 season. Today, we're going to be taking a look at those players priced between 6 and 7.5 million, and just, who seems like a pretty good shout at that price bracket. If you're new around here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, hit the like button if you do enjoy this kind of style of content, and well, let's get straight on into this one. And well, the first player we are looking at, the main man himself, I'm going to be talking about Raphinha a hell of a lot. The Leeds man, obviously coming in at 6.5 million. I just think he's unbelievable value. Now, obviously, Leeds don't have the best kind of first four fixtures, so maybe you'll look towards one of the other players that I do mention later on in this video. However, after that fourth game against Liverpool, Leeds do go on a very good run of fixtures. So whether you just stick with him from the start, as I mentioned previously, Leeds are a good team to have in terms of attackers because they will always try and score. Even if they're 4-5-0 down, they'll be absolutely going for the goals. As you can see there by his stats, he had a pretty good start or first season in the Premier League. Obviously, he didn't actually end up playing all of the games because he joined a little bit later into the season. But yeah, I just think that Raphinha is an absolute cracking option at 6.5 million. And there's not really too much more to say than I think he's, just a smashing option. Next, we move on to his teammate Harrison, who some may consider to be even a better of an option than Raphinha. Obviously, we see here he came in with 8 goals and 10 assists last season with expected goals of 0.2 and expected assists of 0.24. That 0.5 million less could really help in terms of constructing the team, and he was actually the 7th highest scoring midfielder last season. I mean, at some point this season, you may even see the double up for a lot of people of Harrison and Raphinha. I do genuinely think that after game week 4, that may be extremely viable, especially with some of the other 6 mil kind of options out there that we will come on to. They seem a little bit more punty than the likes of Harrison. Harrison doesn't, well, he's obviously neither of them are scoring kind of week in, week out, but as the statistics show here, he was basically expecting a return every other game, and for a player priced at 6 million, being a midfielder, I think that's absolutely cracking value, and obviously gets on the bonus points when he does get attacking returns as well. In terms of the next player we're looking at Emiliano Buendia. Now, obviously, of Aston Villa, but we do have the Norwich image there because that is the one that is still on the FPL website, coming in at 6.5 million. The main kind of reason that he is in here for me is those first 3 fixtures. Have a look at those: Watford, Newcastle and Brentford. Newcastle and Brentford obviously at home. I have discussed previously what I think is going to be massive this season is home advantage, and having Newcastle and Brentford at home in game weeks 2 and 3, I think that Buendia could absolutely smash it, especially if Grealish goes. He's going to be their kind of main man in midfield. Obviously, if Grealish stays there, he could perform even better, but if he's slipping the ball through to the likes of Ollie Watkins, then I think he'll be absolutely smashing it. Obviously, we don't have any stats from previous or from the last season in the Premier League, but we do have stats from the season before that. He scored 1 goal for Norwich and assisted 7 games, and expected goals of 0.0 and expected assists of 0.26. So if that was throughout a whole season, we probably would be turning our heads away from Buendia. But we looked at the Championship last season and he got 15 goals and 16 assists. So the guy was absolutely smashing it in the Championship last season. Could he kind of continue that form into the Premier League? Well, he's a little bit older now, probably a little bit more mature as a player, and he's also going into a much better side. He's going to get a lot more of the ball through the midfield from the likes of John McGinn, from the likes of Traore. Then he's going to be passing it to arguably a much better striker. Watkins versus Pukki. Obviously, Pukki, he's had his moments, but Watkins seems to be more of a Premier League striker and probably is a better striker. So if he's slipping that ball through to Watkins, you'd back Watkins to go and put it in the back of the net. So at 6.5 million with those first 3 fixtures, I think Buendia looks like a cracking option for game week 1 of FPL. Then moving on into the next option, and we have Bukayo Saka coming in at 6.5 million. Obviously, he had a decent season last season, picking up 5 goals, 5 assists, expected goals of 0.25 and expected assists of 0.16. He probably is Arsenal's best asset, or at least best attacking asset for value for money, playing against Brentford in that first game, and then obviously that favourable fixture against Norwich in game week 4. Now, he was one of the guys I kind of thinking you could potentially rotate. If you go with Buendia, you could easily then rotate and bring in Saka for the game week 4, because I think after Norwich as well, they have a decent run of fixtures. Now, the thing to mention about Saka is he probably is still a bit of a rotation risk. I think he'll be less and less of a risk this season, as he has shown he is just such a class player. But the thing with Arsenal, they do have kind of a load of similar-esque players, you know, the likes of Saka, Pepe, Smith Rowe, Martinelli, a lot of players who are kind of fighting for the same spot. No one who particularly looks, or no one who really shines above anyone else. They all just kind of look above average, but no one's really looking world class. But Saka, of late, especially for England as well, has been looking very, very tidy, very, very good. So hopefully for him, he can get more minutes. For us FPL managers, if he does continue to get more minutes and more playing time under Arteta, he could be a very, very good option this season. Next, we take a look at Adama Traore at 6 million. Some of you may be thinking, why the hell is he in here? He only scored 2 goals and assisted 4 last season. I thought I'd just put him in here just to generally discuss him. Obviously, not having the best of seasons last season under Nuno. And they do, obviously, Wolves now have a new manager. Obviously, those first few fixtures don't look particularly great, playing against Leicester, Spurs and Manchester United. I think the main reason I'm including him here is that we have the return of Raul Jimenez, or we should have the return of Raul Jimenez. And in the season before, Adama x Jimenez was the best scoring combination in the Premier League. And obviously in the season before, Adama absolutely smashed it. I think it was comparably, he got 4 goals and 9 assists in the season before that. And for 6 million, if he's picking up those kind of stats, I think he looks like a very good option. So hopefully for him, with having Jimenez back, he's going to pick up a lot more assists, and it could even allow him to score a few more goals as well. As he continues to get more game time and matures as a player, we should see him going on and doing a lot better. So it's 6 million, definitely one to look out for. Then, obviously, moving on into the final option we have here, and that is Ismaili Sarr. Watford there, having a really, really good start to the season, playing against Villa at home, then Brighton, obviously Spurs, not the most favourable of fixtures, but then playing against Wolves at home. Now, obviously, with Sarr, I don't have the stats from the last season of the Premier League, because he didn't play in the Premier League, but we do have the stats from the last season that he did play in the Premier League for Watford, and he scored 5 goals, getting 4 assists, with expected goals of 0.26, and expected assists of 0.19. I think everyone will remember that goal he scored against Liverpool, the little dink over Alisson. It was an absolutely sublime finish, and Watford have a very, very good start to the season. After game week 4, they have very favourable fixtures as well, and obviously Aston Villa and Brighton as your first 2 fixtures aren't the worst. They're definitely not the best though, because Villa obviously last season good defensively, Brighton as well quite good defensively away from home. So, you know, once you actually start looking into and dissecting these fixtures, they're maybe not as good as first meets the eye. But I think Sarr for me is one to look out for. I don't think I'll be putting him in a game week 1 squad. However, I think after three or four game weeks, once we've seen Watford kind of hit the ground, or if they do hit the ground running, then Sarr could definitely be one to bring in kind of around game week 4, game week 5, when we've seen them play for a little bit. So this has been a quick little look at players valued between 6 and 7.5 million. Obviously, there's a couple of other players at this price tag that you may be thinking, you know, why have you not included? The likes of Jota. He could potentially be a very good option. However, I do just think there'll be quite a lot of rotation with him up front, with the likes of Bobby Firmino, Mane, Salah, and so on. We could see a lot of Jota rotation. But if he does play consistently under Klopp, could be a cracking option at 7.5 million. Obviously, a lot of Manchester United fans are going to want some Greenwood discussion. Obviously, now with Cavani only expected, I think there was a stat that he was only expected to play about 60% of the games this season. A lot of people are sort of thinking, oh, well, you know, it's Greenwood's time to shine this season. But obviously, if then Greenwood only gets to play 40%, 50% of the games, is he still worth that 7.5 million price tag? Obviously, last season when he came in at about 7 million, everyone was kind of saying, right, Greenwood's going to be a fantastic option at that price tag. Obviously, last year, he wasn't really worth that money at all. So for me, for now, Jota and Greenwood's a complete wait and see, avoid until we really know what's happening with them. If you have enjoyed this video, please don't forget to hit that like button, hit the subscribe button if you're new around here, and I will catch you in the next one. See ya.